Hi there, and welcome to another edition here on Busternet. We are going to wrap up Gloucester's second season in the Premiership, but before that, there's some things I want to do. The first thing I want to do is give a shout out to Daniel James. He asked me a question on YouTube on episode 18 of the Gloucester City Diaries. Yeah, his question was pretty straightforward. It's a question that I get asked a lot. And it's basically, how do you close out games? Do you Is it more important to go to a defensive formation or just having defensive players on the pitch? And that's actually a brilliant question. Why do I say that? Well, it's not an easy thing to do for a lot of people, and sometimes it all depends on the formation that you're using. Can your formation actually close out the game? That's the first question you need to ask yourself. And sometimes it's tough because if your players, in terms of their attributes, they're not as good as the opposition, then you're gonna have a lot of pressure anyway. You're gonna be facing this pressure coming back at you, and it's important to have certain things up on the screen when you're watching the game. And these are the basic things that you want to do. The first thing you want to do is you want to track this. This is action zone. So basically, it tells you possession in the game in the last 5 minutes, who seems to be having the better game in which third of the pitch. The area you want to focus on is midfield and basically in your final third. As you can see here, we played away to West Brom and we had a really tough time. They hardly spent any time in their third. We, on the other hand, we spent a fair bit of time in our third defending against West Brom. Even though we had some control of the midfield, you can see that most of the action was happening in our half. And if you were to look at the match stats, they will bear some things out. First up, West Brom's passing percentages from defense, 75% versus my 62. That tells me we had a problem moving the ball out of our defense compared to West Brom. And even though we had more shots on target, West Brom did create chances. They had, they put a lot of pressure on us. They have 5 corners versus our 2. A lot of this tells me certain things about the game. Now, the other thing you want to be doing in your matches is also looking out for the focus of attacks. Now, this widget, I'm like 50-50 on this widget. It helps some of the time. It's more important to visually look at the game and then pay attention to their formation widget to see which side they're coming at us more. And it's important for us to understand which side of the pitch we need to defend against. And I had a problem at the start, somewhere in this season, where we went on a bad run twice. First, we went 7 games without a win. And I had problems, and we actually had a brilliant start to the season. A lot of 1-0 draws where we defended very well. But against some of the bigger teams, we can take a lead, find it hard to defend. So what do I do? Well, then we have to look at our tactic itself. So the first thing you want to do when you want to defend against, you have a lead and you want to defend the lead, the first thing you want to do is think, can my formation defend against the AI's formation? For that, you need to look at their formation when they're playing to identify the zones that they are attacking. If they are coming down, if I was playing my 4-1-3-2, if they're coming down one of my flanks, chances are, if they're coming down this flank, chances are I'll tell him to go defend or play support, and then I will swap the more defensive-minded player here. So between these two defenders, the player with the better positioning and anticipation will move to the left. I need a player with strong mentals to be playing on the weaker side. The second thing I'll do is I'll make sure that in midfield I have players with bravery, determination, work rate. So you have answered your own question, Daniel. You want to make sure that you're using the right formation. It may not necessarily be a defensive mentality, but it has to be a system that defends the spaces that you are vulnerable at. In this particular case, we are vulnerable through the middle. Our defenders don't have a lot of good tackling, so we have decent mentals, but one-on-one, players are going to ice skate through the middle. So what do? I stick a DM here, and I make sure there are 3 more players here who can tackle. So that's one way of doing it. So to answer your question, you need to make sure that you have the right formation. You need to make sure that you have the right kind of players on the pitch who can do that. So get the players who have good bravery, work rate, determination. And finally, make sure you use the widgets carefully and see what's happening on the pitch so you can make the changes that you need to. Well, I hope answer your question.
Boo boo boo. Ba-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
Not that he needs a shout out from me, but Loki Doki, well, he's got a fantastic show. You guys absolutely need to check out his Wolfsburg save. There's this cool episode on episode 32. He's in the Champions League with Wolfsburg, and they've got this fantastic match against Manchester United. The commentary is simply epic. All right, so if you get a chance to, please go check out Loki Doki saves, because I certainly am not going to miss anymore. And the team have done pretty well. The board are happy, and we have to consider the fact that going forward we need to start selling some of these players off. Yes, you have heard me. We have to start selling. And I'm looking at my players, and I love to do this over the season. In fact, in terms of our training, as you can see, we've got specific training schedules for most of the players. They should be heading for their holiday break soon. In terms of performances, I'm looking at some of my players and the training. Looking at Eric Kone, he's a professional first team player, was training as an inverted wingback the whole season. So what I like to do is I look at the attributes since they joined. So crossing 7.4 is just all his attributes have improved marginally only. Pace has gone up because the pace has been the most noticeable improvement, and pace and acceleration. Because largely down to the fact that we did a fitness training program at the start of the season for our players. Another player that I reckon has performed pretty well in training has been Joe Hanks. Joe Hanks, 28 years old, continues to surprise me with his devotion to training, and look at how he's improved since since he was in the conference. Yeah, he started playing with us from the conference. Passing has gone up. All his attributes, most of them have gone up tremendously over the last couple of seasons. Off the ball went from a paltry 7.8 to 11. His composure went from 8.6 to 11. His anticipation went from 10 to 12. His passing went from 10 to 13. And his teamwork doesn't really improve that much. I noticed that in the game. So, well, happy to see that our training programs are coming along too. However, we have this big issue in the club, and it's got to do with our facilities. Our facilities, they're basic training facilities and poor youth facilities, and this is something that if we don't fix, I'm gonna have to end up doing something different going forward. I've gone to the board. I keep telling them, come on, improve the stuff, and they just want to keep giving me a bigger and bigger transfer budget. I mean, look, if I went this way, we'll have a transfer budget of 28 million and a transfer budget of 67 million. I honestly don't give a crap about my transfer budget. I just want our training facilities to improve. If our training facilities improve, we get, our players' development will improve. So for the next 3 seasons, this is what I plan to do. I plan to sell. Yes, you heard me again. I'm selling a lot of my players off. So Karim Mamija players, people want him. Okay, I'm going to sell him for profit, and I'm going to keep the money. Taylor Moore, if he wants to go, he can go. I'm going to sell him for profit. The whole goal here is that I have a problem with homegrown players, right? We got promoted, so this whole homegrown thing is affecting me right now. So I need to sign some players who are very young, 18, hot prospects, and hopefully I can keep them in the club long enough for them to improve. The downside of this is their attributes are not going to grow by much because I got shitty training facilities. Literally, I'm telling the boys to train in the mud. Hey, boys, go out there. You see that muddy pitch over there? Go and train. Do your sprints on the muddy pitch. That's basically what we have. So it's a catch-22 situation. I'm never going to fulfill homegrown players rule until I get players in the club for a considerable period of time. And most of my players, well, the only one their homegrown players rule is a bit annoying. So the challenge that we have is meeting the homegrown players rule. Essentially, there are 2 things that we need to concern ourselves. The first rule is that you need a minimum of 4 players trained in the club between 17 and 21 years. or 16 and 21. So basically, you need to sign players at the age of 17 or 16. You gotta find them, bring them to the club. They go into your academy, they train, and they have to be in your club. They can't go on loan between 17 and 21. That's the way you handle it. If they go on loan to a foreign club, you're screwed. They go on loan to another club, you're screwed. So they have to be in your club. They can't leave your club. So I'm gonna have to find 4 players, and basically, they're gonna get shithouse training on our muddy pitches. That's so sad. And the second thing I need to do is I have all these players who have been trained in nation between the ages of 15 to 21. So the other thing is I'm gonna have to look for English players right now who've been trained in England and they have not played anywhere else. Look, like players like Taylor Moore, I thought he was. Unfortunately for me, he wasn't. He's been trained in France. He's been plying his trade in France. So I should have checked all this up. Between those early years, he was actually in Lens. So that was my mistake. So I'm going to have to find players who, between the ages of 17 to 21, were playing in England. So that means I'm going after signings by all the, I'm going after former players who came from the academies at Liverpool, Manchester United, and all the top academies in England. So that's my plan going forward. So we're going to bring in more players. And some of these players are going to be going off, like Rutenko. He's going to be transfer listed. Yeah, I'm not going to do that right now, but quite a number of my players are going to be transfer listed, so they're all going to be gone. So if I can sell them off, I will. Like Rory Donnelly, we won't be keeping him. Mark McNulty, if I need to, probably him as well. Ryan Hardy, I'll be selling him off. Luis Simi, Goncalo Luiro, we're going to keep him. Taylor Moore, yes, if he wants to go, he can take the first bus out of the club. Armando Di Blasio, we're going to keep him. I want this player. I really like him and I don't care. Abel Calado, I love this player. I'm going to keep him. I don't care. Said Amara, maybe I will sell him. Eric Kone, without a shadow of a doubt, I'm going to hang on to him like his dear life because he's not leaving. He's not going anywhere. He's the best defender I've got. So you are staying and I'll give you anything you want, Eric Kone. If you want beautiful women to come and give you a massage, I'll arrange that too. Yes, I'll be your pimp even. So I'll be Goncalo Luiro's pimp as well. So I like this player. He's been playing so well. So there are some players we have to keep. But this list is going to be whittled down. So that's the thing that we need to get ourselves sorted. Training wise, we are gonna, when they come back, they're gonna go straight into fitness training. That's the plan. Now, what about our team report, our comparison right now? Every end of the season, this is what I do. I will go through my physicals for my most important group. So here I noticed one thing, we have improved a lot, considerably more than the season before, and even the first season when we entered the Premiership. Today, in terms of natural fitness, we're the best. Physicals, pace, we're not bad. We're no longer the slowest bunch on the planet. Stamina-wise, we can last a bit longer than Aston Villa. That's enough. And as long as we can last above the rest, acceleration, we will need to do something about this. I really need to bump this up for the strikers. In terms of for the midfielders as well, I'm very proud of the physicals of the midfielders. Stamina, strength, that's all improved in our training schedule, but they're still not very fast. But mentals, okay, we've improved somewhat from the day when we first joined, because I remember, if you've been following my series, I've always said that we're the dumbest team in the planet. Okay, since day one. We got zero. When we got into the Premiership, our decision making was probably the lowest average in the Premier League. Right now, we are close to the average. All right, we're 12.89. So now the dumbest team title does not belong to Gloucester City. We ain't the dumbest anymore, and we are definitely one of the bravest. And I like that. In terms of aggression, not too bad. Don't mess with us. We're gonna smash you asunder. Teamwork, at least we die fighting together. Positioning, we know where to find the women. And work rate, we really work hard for the girls. Okay, so good. I love where we are in terms of our averages right now for mentals. In terms of technical abilities. Now, technical abilities, I don't really jump at technicals at the moment, because I know in terms of technical, we are miles away from everybody else. But for my midfielders, I wanted 2 attributes, marking and tackling, and now we are numero uno in the land of the Premiership. Okay, when it comes to the strikers, technicals, I want finishing to be decent and I want composure to be decent. Well, We can't have everything in this world. We've got finishing. Okay, we are above average for finishing, and that is something. So we have the ability, mentally, composure is okay, and in terms of our finishing, we're alright. We just have to get a lot better. I tell you something, in all these years, I've never ever checked my goalkeepers. Yes, it is the truth. I have never checked my goalkeepers, but Sam Johnson is. We got 4 goalkeepers, so the average is going to be affected by the poorer goalkeepers, of which we have quite a few. If you look at Jack Ruddy and the company, yes, we have a lot of poor goalkeepers. But I guess we are all right. We are above for yeah, we're okay, I guess, in terms of our physicals and mentals. Okay, so how did we play last season? And this is another area that I need to focus on. What went right? What went wrong? When it came, but the start of the season was good, but we were pretty conservative at the start of the season. We were using the 4-4-2 diamond because I was basically in love with a system that could control both the offensive and defensive areas of the pitch. However, as the season progressed, I realized that we were much better suited to playing a 4-1-3-2. So I know my players have got fantastic tackling, so we stuck to the basics and we stuck to the 4-1-3-2, and we found that we were pretty decent with the 4-1-3-2. In terms of the players and all, we did okay. We also played some pretty interesting matches where we won by considerable margins, even though we didn't create that many chances. More importantly, that we didn't allow the AI to completely dominate us. However, there were some matches which we completely couldn't, we had no answer to. I mean, these are clubs that are better than us, and essentially all we do is survive by the skin of our balls. Alright, against Liverpool, we only had 3 shots on target. Liverpool basically controlled the match. We hardly threatened them. They were camped in our half. Even the stats don't say much, but this says a lot to me. It says that we couldn't get out of our own half, and Liverpool played a 4-2-3-1. So a lot of the good teams, they have been hammering us. Look at United, Europa League quarterfinal, absolutely dominated us. We just sat there and said, oh, why are we even here? Okay. So United and Liverpool and some of the top clubs, they have very, very pacey flank attacks, and this is something I learned this season. They all dominated me because they have these flank attacks that I cannot keep out. They've got phenomenal players that are good on the flanks. And our defeats against Manchester United only bore this out even more. Especially this match. Our home leg, we did okay, 2-2. We defended, but we can't defend against United with their flank attack. So for the next season, we have understood where we're coming from. In our last match of the season, we needed to win 3-2. We went to our favorite system, the 4-3-1-2. Now, the 4-3-1-2 isn't defensively solid. Right, if you don't have the players for it. Our weaknesses are 2 and 16, so we need to shore this up. So we need to get one top English defender. That's the goal. The second thing we need to do is we need to get 2 English strikers. Yes. And another English attacking midfielder. That's 3-4 players we're going to go into the market. Yes, we're going to go into the market big time. We're going to just buy English. We'll put a big advertisement up. We'll put the face of Margaret Thatcher next to it, and I'll put the face of Winston Churchill next to it, smoking that cigar, and says, "We want you. Come to Gloucester City." That's the plan. And then we'll ask Will Grigg to lead the attack. That's so hilarious. But then again, I definitely am going to ask Will Grigg to lead the attack. He'll probably be one of the few non-English players, but I've got to give him some love. He's done it. He took us into the final. He got us into the Champions League, and he certainly did he did well. His shot on targets aren't that fantastic. I mean, it's 49%. It's okay. He's alright. In cup competitions, he's a hell of a lot better. In continental competitions, he's also a bit of a question mark. And I am so tempted to use certain skins. Honestly, I feel like cheating. Alright, seriously, it's almost, my hands are coming to a point where I want to cheat. And I'm going to show you guys something. Alright, just bear with me for a while. I like this skin. If you go to the player attribute screen, it's very nice, bright, it stands out, you can't miss any information until you look at Mamija's attributes. Notice something on this skin that is not available on other skins. Yes, I almost feel like using this skin, and this skin will be a huge cheat for me. Okay, it's not something I want to use, but I thought you guys might like it. It's called the flute skin, and look at this panel here. Current ability, potential ability. It tells you what the current and potential abilities are. Now 17 as numbers in the system that generate represent a range of potential ability. So it could be like 170 for his potential ability and 170 for his current ability, something like that. But you need to go and do some research on your own to find out. Now look at this, his versatility, injury proneness, important matches, dirtiness, and consistency. I almost feel like getting this skin, using this skin, but I know that if I use this skin, I'll never forgive myself. I mean, there's probably a way for me to remove this. I just have to go into the skin and just find out what this information is. Just remove this entire area here. It is a nice skin. I have to admit, when I found this skin, I was really excited. I wanted to use it. I was like, wow, this is cool. This is so cool. Look at the skin. I like the skin. I mean, yeah. Right now, my personal favorite at the moment has got to be the Gunzo skin. So I'm going to be using the Gunzo skin. I can't use the Gunzo skin as well because it's got roles and duties. So I'm back to either using the base dark skin for next season. So that's what I'm probably going to do next season. I'm just going to go to the base skin and change to that. Well, I guess we've sorted things out. Our most difficult decision was deciding what skin we're going to use next season, and that one has been sorted. Our second more pressing concern has to be, who do we get and who do we sell? The selling is easy. The getting in is going to be the hard one. And it's going to be a very interesting preseason for me. It's probably going to take me a few days to sort that out. Hopefully you have enough things to do while that happens. If you have any questions on the show, once again, that was the flute skin and the Gunzo skin. I haven't really shown you how to get the Gunzo skin. It's a lot harder. If you have any questions, please look me up on Twitter at PastaNet or addicted2fm.com, my website. Once again, I'd like to thank all my patrons for continuing to support this channel. Please ask me anything you want. I'll try and help you guys as much as I can. And I don't make any exceptions to... it doesn't make a difference to me whether you're a patron or non-patron. I will try and help you equally as much. So you guys take care, have a good one. I'm out of here. I'm off to bed. Bye bye.